so this next part, change of roles for Erin. She's been kind of mediating and she's going to step into a presenter role. And then we're going to pull out from the behind the scenes. One of the main people making this conference work has been Irene. And she's been teaching for many years, mostly here at the village. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
All right. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's start with showing me your sock. And if you don't have it, that's okay. All right. So take it off your foot. All right, there you go. Okay, so let's just put that on the side. Good. So most of my talk today is going to be about this little book, Education for Life book. And it seems to me like I'll read a little piece of it and I'll say, that is a cool idea. And so the part that I read recently was this little paragraph about fantasy. And he talks about the importance of fantasy. And it pretty much just says something like, you know, actually, I'll tell you what it says. This is my imagination pillow, and this is my joy pillow. So what happened is I was getting ready for this class. I was going to make a PowerPoint, and my internet connection wasn't working. So I thought, I'll just make a pillow. I'll put my notes on the pillow, and yeah, it's like a stuffy. Okay, so let's start with imagination, which he talks about fantasy. And he says, imagination should be trained. A well-developed imagination is the spring from which flows creativity of genius. Okay, so you start from this place. And what happens sometimes as teachers is we forget to imagine. Imagine this child actually coming to class happy. Imagine me being happy. Imagine me being calm. Imagine all the wonderful things that can happen. And he said a teacher should walk into the classroom and just be excited about like showing up today. It's gonna be great. So I started looking through the book and trying to find other things in the book that were just sort of hidden that had to do with imagination. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is have everybody stand up, and I'm going to stay seated, but why don't you stand up? Okay, so you can stand up if you want, and look. I want you to step in, take one step into a forest, okay? So you're taking a step, suddenly you're in this forest. And this is an exercise he gave for developing imagination. So imagine yourself in a forest. What is the forest like? Are you afraid or happy? Build yourself a home in the forest. What kind of home would you like to build? Is it in the clearing or in the deep woods? Think of the forest animals. Are they your friends? Or are you afraid of anyone or any of them? If so, why? See yourself now take another step. See yourself walking along the forest path. Whom do you meet there? Is it an animal or a human? If it's a human being, does that person smile when they see you? Have you done something to make them smile? If not, is there something you can do to make this friend smile? Imagine a pond in the forest. In the middle of the pond, there is a small island. And on that island, there is a marble pedestal. And on that pedestal, there rests a cup. What does the cup look like? Describe it. Think of the cup as containing a wonderful, clear, amber liquid. It's bubbling with energy and happiness. Drink it. Suddenly, look, everything in the forest is becoming cheerful, peaceful, and beautiful. Call to your friends, whoever they may be, a child, a grown-up, or an animal. Ask them to come enjoy this magical drink with you. Now take a walk with them through the magical forest. Okay, have a seat. Okay. Okay. That's a visualization that was in the book. But come on back. He also had another one. And this one, he says that you would have a crystal, some kind of a prism. And he said the teacher might get the children to look into the prism of lights in the crystal and to imagine themselves moving about in a magical world of rainbow hues. The teacher might invent a story, perhaps of a child entering such a world and having wonderful adventures with beings and places of light. Okay. So during this presentation, I'm going to have you start to use the thumbs up, thumbs down, because I'll ask you questions. So the first question I want to ask.
Irene, one sec. Just in case anybody doesn't know what she's talking about, at the bottom of your screen, there is a little smiley face that says reactions. And if you click on that, there's an option to click a thumbs up. So when Irene asks, you can use that.
Okay. So the first question is, how many of you use fantasy or imagination in your classes already? So thumbs up if that's true. Okay. All right. So the next question, and the thumb will disappear on its own time. When it's done, communicate. All right. Okay. So the next question is, how many of you work with children in the feeling years? Okay. All right. Okay, so this part, these things aren't coming from the part of the book that has to do with the feeling year. When he gets into the teenagers and stuff, well, it turns from fantasy to imagination. You're going to learn Spanish, become somebody who lives in a Spanish-speaking country. So you're going to study our Earth, our universe, then become a scientist. And so you have the kids imagine these things. So they open up. Okay, there's a lot of other stuff on my pillow, but I'm not going to take the time to share it all. I am going to share this other part that says, pretty much at the end of chapter 5, he says a final word. And it's so funny because these things, they're just so simple and you sort of forget about it. This one I won't forget about because I'm going to sleep on it. And it says, never underestimate the importance of fun to the overall teaching process. It is often during moments of lightness when the mind is diverted. And that's when the most fundamental lessons can be learned. Okay, we're always trying. So how many of you consciously put fun into your lessons? Okay. All right. Okay. So with that, actually, we're going to do a little breakout, and you're going to be sent to your room, and you're going to take your sock. And for some reason, I kept thinking, I have to tell them to bring their sock, and I expect you all to walk in the door with your sock. Nice sock. Okay. So then you're going to take your sock into your classroom. You're going to think of some challenging thing, like I'm really challenged when I need to teach the kids how to spell or whatever. One challenge. You're going to meet with 2 other people. And when you go in there, you're going to say, I have, my challenge is spelling. And you're going to use your sock. And you're going to create a lesson plan around this sock that has to do with spelling. And you guys all can brainstorm with each other. And then we'll come back. And probably won't have time to share what we did. But anyway.
How many minutes do you want them in the group, Irene?
Let's just get, there's 3 people.
How many minutes?
Let's do 6 minutes. So it's going to be quick.
Ready?
All right.
I don't think that worked. Hi, Simona. You're not in the car anymore. You look like you're in a stable environment now. Uh-oh. Hold on. It says they're closing the breakout room. Maybe we need to remake the rooms. Okay, I'm going to go back to the main session, make sure they might need my help.
Okay. Well, let's just enjoy it while we're doing it. So think in your mind, what's the challenge?
Nitai, what happened? Do you need me to help you with making the breakout? Because I got
What happened is that it just went crazy again. I got some people are 3 in a room, some people are 1 in a room. And I try to close them, and it says it's going to take 20 seconds to close.
Okay. So when it does, do the remake. Remember, you have to remake the room for. Oh, weird. Okay.
All right.
You got 10 more seconds, Irene.
So start brainstorming. So
Okay.
everyone,
Since
Okay.
I can't mute myself, I'm stuck on not mute. Maybe you could demonstrate.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Let's
Or you
say
would-
my challenge is that I can't get people to go on hikes with me. Okay.
Mm.
So what I'm gonna do, and let's say they're teenagers. Oh, looks like
Great. We
are
tried
we
again.
gonna-
Are we
go
gonna try?
ahead and disappear whenever you're invited.
Let's
Disappear.
try. Okay. Hi, Suryani.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. It worked.
Okay. So what's your challenge? And then what are you going to do using this sock to solve that challenge?
Well, since I have never taught before, I just was gonna make up that they had a hard time sitting still. Is that?
Okay, great. What are you going to do with your sock?
And then I thought I would probably ask everyone to put their sock on and go find something in the room to pick up that the sock monster would like to eat and then bring it back. So to physically engage and then come back and be focused and share what they
Yeah.
want, what their snake wants to eat and why.
Love it. That's great. Omni, hi.
Hi. I haven't much understood what to do.
So think of a challenge in your classroom or with your kids or whatever that you've had, like something that you're always like,
Okay.
oh, what do I do? And then like, how could you like creatively use this sock in an imaginative way
Okay.
to solve that problem?
Okay. Thanks. So we just three of us?
Yeah, it's just a small group. Yep. We just have a short time. I think they're going to call us back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do you have any challenges that come to mind? Maybe we can help you.
Yeah, I have a challenge with the child sticking to a routine.
They like to stick to a routine or they don't like it?
Don't like it.
Don't like it. What kind of are they, what is their like primary tool of maturity? Are they more like feeling or body or will or intellect?
Feeling.
Feeling. Oh,
Feeling.
well, this is great.
Yeah.
You can totally use fun and fantasy to engage them. I find that really, like, use a funny voice with your sock. You could pretend like Suryani was doing, you know, like, it's time to come to the table. Something, you know, like it's funny when you change your voice.
British sock. Oh.
Hmm. I think a lot of people are going for sock puppet, but I'm wondering like how else could you use this? This is interesting. Oh, you could do like what yeah, I like that. Yeah, use it as your scarf, like you could
Yeah.
costume
Yeah.
or a blindfold.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Ah.
Going on a secret mission.
Yes.
You don't know where you're going, so I'm going to blindfold you and I'm going to lead you there, and then you get them to go where you want them to go. I like what
Perfect.
Yeah, that adds a little bit of fun element as well as a little adventure.
mhm.
I like the blindfold one.
Like Sundara was saying yesterday, just like even like whispering or making something like a mystery, you know, it
Yeah.
oh, I want to know what that is, you know. Whereas if it's like
Yeah.
probably like a feeling kid, like routine is like, oh, that's boring. I don't want, you know, I know what
I
to do
know.
next. But if you make it like,
Yeah, the same one.
yeah,
Yeah, if you use a kind of a whisper and then some ghostly voice or something, and then guess where you're going, and then just close your eyes and whatever.
absolutely. Love
Into
that. I love it. It could be, I would probably use it, let's see. I'm trying to think what my challenge is. Maybe sometimes getting them writing is hard.
Mhm.
They have wonderful ideas, but they have a hard time like sitting down to write. So it could be like the I don't know, like it could be a magic tool that helps you write. Like if you get the magic sock, that like will make your story like even better. Or like,
Mm.
you know, it's the
Mhm.
sock writing the story, not you. So you put it on if you need help
Mhm.
writing. Or it could be,
Mhm.
I don't know, it could be like a treasure that we found. We could pretend there's something in the sock. I mean, you can use other things, right? Like, so I could put something in the sock. Ooh, that would be fun. And then you have to like feel through the sock, and they could try and get,
Yeah.
you know, what it is. And then they could like write a story about what they think it is, right? It's like, I have,
Ah.
and how did it, and why is it in, or you could even say like, uh, you could make up a story where it's not necessarily in a sock, but like it's buried somewhere and nobody knows what it is, and you can only feel it or something, just to give them.
Or more like for younger children, maybe if they're allowed to put their hand inside and feel the objects inside, and if they get it, something like a feel, and then take it out. If you get most of it right, then you're like to the next level.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good for their brains too, to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
And kind of do that fine motor input. That's great. Ooh, I like that
Or
idea.
it could even be like like lavender flowers, something with smell. You have to smell the sock, and it could be,
Yes,
contrary to what socks would smell like. I don't
I
know.
love it. I love it. Yeah, because that's like that would immediately awaken
Sorry.
enthusiasm if you said like, okay, we're gonna smell the sock. Here's my smelly sock. And you, oh no! But then it actually smelled nice. It would be like, who's gonna be brave enough to smell the sock?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Oh my goodness, great ideas. I can't wait to hear what other people had. All right, I think we're going back.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see what the sock has to say.
Another socks.
Irene, we came up with so many ideas.
Okay, good.
Great.
All right.
Hey, to go back to the dorm, you could be pretending like you're interviewing one of the students. Why don't you clean up after dinner? Oh, teacher, I'm just lazy. Oh, no, it's not. I've got homework to do. Really, I'm gonna get on my phone, but
Okay. All right. So let's do thumbs up if
Everyone's back yet.
Got about another 15 seconds or so.
oh okay.
We talked about putting things in the sock and making it like a mystery thing.
My screen is sort of stuck. Is anyone else having that problem?
No.
I can't mute myself or do anything else.
Okay, Matthew.
I'm just stuck.
Oh, maybe they pinned you.
Nope.
Oh,
Matthew,
no.
maybe you
I
need
don't
to.
think so. It's that rainbow circle thing is twirling around.
probably go out and come back in, right?
I'll go out and come back in once we're all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once we
Yeah,
take a
everybody
break.
should be back by now.
Okay. All right. Welcome back. So give me a thumbs up if
Yeah.
you figured it out. Give me a thumbs up if you figured it out. Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you. All right. So that's button. So that's an idea. Just bring a prop, ask the kids to figure it out. Sometimes it works, especially for the older ones. So Erin, so I invited Erin to share a fantasy thing or creative idea that she came up with.
Sure. Irene asked me to share about something I did for math. When I was first starting to teach math to this group, I had second and third grade, and I wasn't very experienced in teaching math, and I immediately found out it was very not fun for me and not fun for my students. And that was all I wanted. I just wanted it to be fun because I don't know, I just felt like it could be more fun. And so I did some research and I found this story from another teacher, and I adapted it a little bit to teach about and work with place value. So it's a story about, I guess I won't tell the whole story because it's a little long, but essentially, I think the first year I taught it, there were fairies and there were gnomes. The fairies like to gather flowers, and the gnomes gathered, I think, mushrooms. And so we just kind of made it this story about they were gathering, and then they had so many that they wanted to take them to the market to share, or the other animals wanted to come and get some, and then they ended up taking them to the market to share. And so, but it was a lot to count and carry, and so they had to get little backpacks, and in the backpacks you could fit 10 or in the wheelbarrows, you could fit 100. So it was using place value, like rather than carrying one at a time. So we did like, oh, you could bundle the flowers into groups of 10, or you could have a basket of flowers with 100 in them, or you could have, and then I'll show a couple pictures too, because I think that you can see it wasn't just a story. I tried to give them something they could actually work with their fingers. So let's see. So I had these little sticks in the classroom. So we pretended those were the flowers, and they had to physically bundle them up. So I just basically gave each group like a huge pile of sticks and like, oh, you guys are the fairies. Like, how many flowers do you guys have? And so they bundled them up into groups of 10, and then, oh, if they had 10 tens, then they had 100. So they could actually see, oh yeah, if you had 10, you put them in the basket, and that was a basket of flowers. So they could see they had 215 here. So I gave them a visual. This is I used those little glass gems as our quote mushrooms, and I had little pieces of fabric and string. And so they were making bundles of mushrooms. So because, you don't want to buy just one mushroom, you want to buy a whole bundle. So they would bundle them up. And so that was super fun. And so they were little mushroom sellers. This is another thing I did for spelling. It was the Michelangelo. So they put their spelling paper under their desk and wrote their spelling words as if they were, in the Sistine Chapel. I cannot tell you how many times they asked me to do this. Like, this was the only spelling. I had all these choices of spelling activities. That's the only one they ever wanted to do. They loved it. This is another one just using math manipulatives. These are 10 rods, and the little squares are ones, and there are also hundreds. And so they could just make any design that they wanted. And then they had to draw the design and then, count up how many it was. But a lot of them came up with these really elaborate stories about what they were building, which was a really fun way to bring in, some of them had little characters. Some of them this one was like a, battle, castle with these are your soldiers and all these different things. So they could just bring their own imagination into it. That's one of the wonderful things is like, we don't have to invent everything. They're always inventing things. So if you just leave space for that, you can just draw on that and build on that. This is another example of, had gone on a walk and they just started building a little fairy house in the tree. And I didn't at this point build on it, but there's, like I said, it's just another opportunity, like just watch what they're doing and the stories that they're telling each other at recess, even, and see ways you can draw that into your lessons, because this is another thing that I do in the wintertime. There is first year it was an elf. Actually, yeah, first year was a fairy. It was a winter fairy that came to our classroom and delivered a glitter covered mailbox. It just appeared in our classroom, and every day there would be little notes and things in the mailbox to them. And then this past year it was a kindness elf. He came every day and gave us a kindness mission that we had to accomplish. And so just kind of spreading some holiday cheer and kindness. And so these are some notes that the students wrote back to the elf and the fairy. So they always want to know if it's me, but I never let them know. This is another one we did where they were creating their own island as a class. So it was a cooperative activity. It was really insightful as a teacher to watch them work together, but they just like got so into creating this whole fantasy world island, and each of them had their little area, but then they had some group areas that they were together. And this is some writing that we did. We studied seeds earlier in the year, and we all got to they all discovered they were scientists, and they all discovered their new mystery seed, and they had to draw it first, and then write about like what did it need for care, like how do you take care of this seed, and then what does it grow. So we had like a zombie seed and a cupcake seed and a video game seed and a let's see, what other one grew dragons, and just all, and what do you have to feed it with? Oh, you have to give it lots of you know, sprinkles, or you have to feed it brains if it's a zombie seed. So it drew on their imaginations tremendously, just kind of tying together, you know, the science and what's happening in the world, but also bringing in their imagination. We did another one later in the year that was on germs, and they had discovered this new germ, this new and what did it do and how do you protect yourself against it, which was interesting because I didn't see the whole COVID thing coming. But this is something that we did in PE, which was our gym teacher, Ben, is so great at drawing on fantasy, and he told us we were on a special mission and we had to carry our teammates to another area. So it was like a cooperation team building exercise, but he built this whole story around it that just like immediately got everybody super engaged and excited. So we're lifting them up and carrying them, and that's it.
Thank you so much. Yay. Okay, so today is definitely the feeling day. And I don't think we thought about it that much. So let's take a break